Portion of this video is sponsored by Casetify. So as you know, the Apple Keynote just ended as they debuted the new Apple Watch, the iPad, and the iPhone 13 series. But in this video, I'm not giving you a full recap. We're going to focus on the iPhones because I'm not interested in the Apple Watch. I'm not interested in the iPad. I already have those things and I don't feel like I need to upgrade. But you already know we're getting the new iPhones in here because you know your boys, I do the accessories. So of course we got to get a new iPhone in here. Now, you already know I'm not hitting you with all the die-hard specs, not the neural processors, nanometer chips, and we're not doing all of that, man. I'm just sticking it to the bare minimum, let you know what was upgraded and what things you might can look forward to, and we'll kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and talk about it. New iPhone 13. Should have been called the 12S, but let's get into it. So one thing that we already knew that was coming, that was always rumored since, I don't know, forever ago, was a smaller notch. Now on both the 13 and the 13 Pro series, there is a 20% smaller notch. So they was able to just fit all the Face ID and just shorten the notch up. So if you're one of those people who were thinking the notch was going bye-bye, you might have to wait till another year, man. Apple was just holding on to the dear sake to that notch, and I think next year we might be getting rid of it. I know there were those leaks floating around. Look, I don't do the leaks, but I gotta tell you, but for right now, we're still rocking with the notch, but it is a little bit smaller. Now, staying with the front of it, talking about the display, nothing has really changed with 13. You still getting the same size of screens when you're coming from the 13 and the 13 mini, but you do get some screen brightness. You know, I think people enjoy, people like it. Look, we like to have brighter screens. So on these, you do get 28% brighter screen, which is going to give you a peak brightness up to 1200 nits. And that's all the techie specky stuff I'm going to get into. We're not going to get into anymore. So just know that the screen is going to be a little bit brighter for those who may have trouble seeing the older 12 models in full sunlight. You do get a brighter display. Now, of course, when it comes to power, we already know we got the next generation of the Bionic chip, which is the A15, and which Apple said, of course, they always give you these percentages. They don't really go detailed in the percentages, but of course, it's 50% faster than the competition and also 30% faster than the competition when it comes to graphics. Now, who that competition entails, I have no idea. They never give you, you know, they're so broad when it comes to their comparisons to different competitions and different things like that. But we already know Apple probably makes one of, if not the strongest chip out there. It's an iPhone. You know the performance is going to be amazing and just expect it to be that much better when it comes to performance on the iPhone. It's an iPhone. We don't have to go crazy over it. I know it all have the neural engines and all of that. Once again, real world performance, it's going to perform well. It's going to be quick, just like any other iPhone that you go out there and pick up. Now, one thing that Apple always seems to focus on is cameras. Cameras is probably always the thing that's improved the most when it comes from their latest model, and they gave you some improvements with these as well. So they are going to be rocking that same 12 megapixel camera, but of course, they're going to give you better low light performance, and they're offering 47% more low light performance, man, with that f1.6 aperture on your normal lens. So you will be able to get better low light pictures when you're in low light situations. If you're one of those people who take pictures when it's like barely any light available, then of course it's going to get a little bit better. It's not going to be anything dramatic, but they are offering you 47% more light. I think that's a good bit. That's almost half. So I think that may be a good improvement. Of course, time will tell once everybody gets out there and he starts hitting these camera comparisons. Then you already know that will be something that may bring up and be talked about. Now, one thing that I found was dope and I did not see coming was last year they gave the 12 Pro Max the sensor shift technology. And I was excited to see that actually come down to the lower models when it came down to the 13 and the 13 mini. So they will be getting sensor shift technology. And that's basically when it comes to the stabilization and everything like that, man, you'll be able to take clearer pictures when it's a little lower light. That was just really dope to see that they took that highest thing that they had in their 12 Pro Max that no other camera last year had, and they put it all the way down in the, and I don't want to say lower tier iPhones, but you get what I'm saying. They brought it down to the 13 series. So that's actually excellent to see that they also get to enjoy that sensor shift technology as well. Now, one thing that they was heavy on, and I know this word is about to get so overused, and that is their cinematic mode when it comes to the rack focus. Now, when they were demonstrating on camera, it seemed pretty dope. I mean, they just have a smooth focus when we're talking about focus pulling and switching focus when you're focused on something else and you're trying to go back into the main point of interest. It seemed pretty good on camera. Of course, everybody have to get these in hand and check them out, but that was one thing that they were really big on, and that was the cinematic mode, especially if you're a person who shoots heavy on your iPhone. There's people who make all their YouTube videos on their iPhone, so these improvements is something that you might want to think of. There's people who shoot all movies on iPhones, so it's pretty dope to see the cinematic focus. It seemed pretty nice when they were debuting it on the presentation, but once again, for us to get them in hand and actually test it out, I do think it is going to be a dope little feature. And that just shows you truly how, videography when it comes to mobile smartphones have just taken off. I mean, just them doing that alone is some of the cleanest. I don't know much on the market. They already had the better video cameras out there in the market to me, but then they just add this cinematic mode, which I feel like just took it up a next level. So if you're one of those people who do a lot of content on your phones, then that's something you might want to check out, which is that cinematic mode to the new iPhone 13 series. Now, of course, they hit you with the 5G, more bands, different faster speeds, faster connections, all things like that. But one thing after that was going to be battery life. Now, Apple, they never give you numbers. They just let you know it's this times faster or this times better than the last version. And coming from the 12 to the 13, it's going to be 2.5 hours better. And then coming from the 12 mini to the 13 mini is going to be 1.5 hours better. So if you were getting pretty good battery life, then of course it's going to improve. If you wanted a little bit more battery life, then you got a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's going to get you over that hump that you require when it comes to battery life, but it's good to see that they have been a little spec bump when it comes to battery. Now, unfortunately, there is no promotion on the 13 and 13 minis. Those are saved for the Pro models. So sadly, you got to upgrade to the Pro models if you want to get that 120 hertz. Now, another thing that was pretty dope was to see them start at the same price of $699 for the mini, and you got $799 for the regular model 13, and the storage sizes are 64 is gone. All right, 64 is an afterthought now. It's all about 128, 256, and 512 gigs of storage. So that's basically the iPhone 13, man. Nice little upgrade. It's good to see some things, the sensor shift technology, the better brightness, better battery, the cinematic mode. They could have stuck that on the Pro models, but they decided to give it to the whole family. So nice subtle upgrades, but let's get to the thing that I'm interested in and the big boy that I'm going to be getting, and that's going to be the Pro series. Now, before we continue with the video, let me tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, and that's going to be Casetify. Now, when it comes to protecting your new iPhone 13 series, they have two of the most popular cases, which is going to be the Ultra Impact, which is 9.8 feet of drop protection, and their Impact series is going to offer 6.6 feet of drop protection. Now, not only are their cases made out of 65% recyclable and plant-based materials, the packaging 100% recyclable, and their Chi-Tech 2.0 technology that's going to give you all of those good drop test numbers. That material is also made out of that same recyclable plant-based materials. Now, when it comes to Casetify cases, one of the things that they pride themselves of is having the most colors, designs when it comes to cases. You can go from having a curated print case to actually designing your own and putting your own monogram, print, whatever you want up there. The customization when it comes to Casetify cases is literally unlimited. You can do whatever you want to do, and all of their cases are going to be 5G compatible, as well as wireless charging with some MagSafe options in there as well. And last but not least, Casetify is all about keeping you safe with the Impact series and Ultra Impact cases being 100% BPA and 100% non-toxic and non-hazardous. Also, Casetify cases feature Defensify, which is going to be the antimicrobial coating that's going to be killing off 99% of microbes and bacteria from even sticking to the surface of your phone. So if you definitely want to check out one of these for your new iPhone 13, the link will be down below, www.casetify.com/technicallyt for 15% off the order of your new iPhone 13 case. Let's go ahead and get back to it. When it comes to the Pro series, we are going to be rocking that 20% smaller notch. Once again, we would like to see it going, but it's all good. We got to get the notch. We got to rock with it, and it's all good. Also, A15 Bionic chip, that's going to be the same across the board. So you're going to get those same neural engines, neural processors, and everything that they were saying, man. They were just boasting it, just like I said, the times 50% better than the competition's performance, 30% better when it comes to gaming. So there it is when it comes to those numbers, man. We already spoke about the A15 Bionic. You know how it is when it comes to the benchmarks comparing against the competitors. Now, one thing that we all was waiting to see come was that display technology. So they said they have the Super Retina XDR display. All of those, that OLED panel that gets plenty of bright, but the main thing that we were all wishing for was that 120 hertz, aka Pro Motion. And we finally got it after I don't know how many years that Android has had 120 hertz. Apple finally got it in there, and it's pretty dope. I like the way they implemented it with the actual, the interface and the way you interact with the iPhone, because they said as fast as you swipe, it'll ramp up the hertz. And of course, it's kind of like that adaptive what Android has going on, but I like the way they have going on because I'm pretty sure you won't have an option to turn it off. It's all embedded and it's going to be all built in, but it seems pretty dope the way they implemented it with even swiping, how you swipe on the screen. If it's fast, it ramps up. If you know how it is when it comes to the hertz. Anyway, we finally got 120. So can we give Apple props for finally jumping on board and giving us the 120 hertz. And I can't wait to see it, because the difference between 60 hertz in iOS and on Android was pretty big. 60 hertz on iOS was pretty smooth, so I'm anxious to see how 120 is compared to the 120 on Android. We definitely going to be comparing that, and we definitely going to do a video on it. But finally, 120 hertz on iPhones. Now, of course, when it comes to pro models, that focus is always going to be geared towards the cameras. And of course, you're going to get bigger sensors. So that's going to be better in low light. I think they may have said 2.2 times, maybe. I could be wrong. I'll put it somewhere. I'll put the B-roll up. That's better in low light performance. And that's something we can always expect from Apple. They're always going to give you a little bit better of low light performance. And one thing about low light is the telephoto lens on the iPhone for the first time has night mode. So if you're a person who uses the telephoto lens, I personally never use the telephoto, never use that lens. But if you do, you might be a diehard telephoto person, and they actually have night mode in there as well. And also, it was pretty good to see them throw macro photography into the lens. Now, I'm personally not a person who really does macro photography, but I do like to see a good macro picture captured. You see what I'm saying? And they finally was able to put the macro mode. They don't need a dedicated lens. A lot of people have dedicated lenses specified to macro, but Apple has it all combined with their lens that they already have. So they did give us a macro mode, which looks pretty good from the demonstrations. So it's anxious to see what people get out there and create when it comes to that macro mode. Now, one thing that everybody was talking about, man, was ProRes video. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get that right away as soon as the iPhone release, but they say that it's coming later on in the fall. But if you don't know what ProRes is, that's like a lossless video codec that edits and just looks well when it comes to Apple devices. It's easy to edit. The color rendation is just all good. I think that might be the word, color rendation. If I'm wrong, you'll let me know in the comments down below. But Apple ProRes is it's a big boy codec that a lot of people, especially when you're deep into cinematography and videography and different things like that, can take advantage of. I feel like most people think they went crazy on the ProRes and they don't really know what the ProRes codec is. So it'd be dope to see, man. The fact that they can record in ProRes, I think 4K 60, I think that's what they said, in ProRes internally. That's pretty impressive when it comes to smartphones. Actually, almost forgot, they also give you a macro video mode as well, if you need to take that in consideration also. And with all of that, it's good to see Apple did not raise the price on us and kept the starting price of the 13 Pro at $999 and the 13 Pro Max at $1099. Also, with the 4 storage configurations, which I just knew one of these were going to get canceled, but you have the 128, 256, 512, and that 1 terabyte option. I know that 1 terabyte option is about to be hitting when it comes to the price. Don't know what it is, but I'm curious to see what it is. But as always, you already know what time it is, man. The pre-orders will go live this following Friday. With the following Friday, which is the 24th, is when you can get them in the store, or they will be shipped to you. So let me know in the comment section what you're going to be picking up, what you liked about the event, what you didn't like. Let's have conversations down below, man. I was really hoping to see that orange color, and I was hoping that I just knew we were going to get it always on display. But I guess we got to wait another 3 years, man. So let me know in the comment section down below which one you picking up. I'll be making sure to let you know what I'm picking up down below. And yeah, y'all do the YouTube things, man. Comment down below, hit that like button, turn that subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. We got a lot coming, especially on the iPhone, and tons of accessories for that bad boy. So everyone, please be safe. Catch you on the next one. Later.